In this video, we will discuss our new assignment that is on spoken digit recognition. So as the name suggests, here you have to recognize the digit based on the spoken audio. So here as an input, here you have to work on the speech signal, or you can say the audio signal. And as an output, you have to recognize a digit based on that particular signal. For example, let's say if you are going to have the audio file of speaking the digit 2 in that audio. So now as an output by your model, you have to recognize this digit and you have to show it. That is 2 in this case. Understand? So this is somewhat interesting problem to work on. And this assignment basically contains the 4 parts here. Whereas in the first part, we will start by first reading the dataset. So you can find the dataset in the Google Drive link provided to you in the zip folder. And after reading the dataset, you have to pre-process it. So we have provided the detailed instructions that we are going to discuss in a meanwhile. But one more thing is that please try to write the code in the same cell that contains that particular instructions so that your code will be more readable and easy for evaluation. Okay. And now in the step 2, you have to train your LSTM network. You have to train your LSTM model with raw data, that means directly on the audio files. And in the third step, you have to convert your audio files to spectrograms. That basically means the visual representation of audio, and you have to train the LSTM network. And in the step 4, you have to perform the augmentation. That means here you have to create the augmented data, and again you have to repeat your step 2 and step 3. So in total, if you see that you have to implement 4 models in order to solve this assignment. Whereas in the first model, you have to apply the LSTM model directly on the audio files. In the step 2, you have to convert your audio files to a spectrogram, that basically a image representation of your audio files. And now you have to apply your LSTM model. And now in the model 3, you have to perform the augmentation on your audio files so that the resultant audio files you will get, the size of these audio files will be larger as compared to original files. Okay. And now with these new set of audio files, you have to again run your LSTM model. And in the fourth step, you have to convert these audio files to a spectrogram representation, and you have to train your LSTM model. Okay, so basically we are going to have these 4 models and we are going to discuss each one of those one by one. Understand? But before that, let's try to read the instructions as well. So these instructions are going to be the same for all your assignments. That first one is that try not to change any greater functions that is available, and also not try to manipulate them, because if you are going to manipulate any, then it will directly be considered as plagiarized, because these greater function will help us in order to debug your code. And also please read the instructions that is mentioned in the code cells and also in the markdown cells, where we will explain that what exactly you have to write. And also please return the outputs in the same format of what we have asked, and try to read all the external links that we have given so that you will learn the concepts behind every code that you are writing. And also we are giving the instructions at each section, so if necessary, please follow them, and that is going to help you in solving the assignment. And your every greater function has to return true. So these instructions are going to be same that we have discussed, that we have already discussed in the previous assignment. So please keep all these points in mind when you are going to start with this. And now let's move on to the assignment now. So we are first starting by importing some of the libraries that we are going to use here. So if you want any other, so let's try to import all of them within this first cell. And now for the dataset that we shared, that is recordings.zip. So please unzip the dataset first. And in this code cell, you have to read all the file names that is present in the recording folder that is given by us in the Google Drive. And here try to get the entire path, because it will be useful for you in future. What you have to do is you have to save all those file names, all those audio file names as a list in a variable all_files, so that your variable all_files will contain the file names that is present in that recording folder. Okay, so you have to write the code within this code cell. So after that, now we came across our first creator function here, and this creator function will basically check the length for your list, and it should be 2000, because we are going to have 2000 audio files in the dataset. And also it's going to check the format for the audio files, and it should be WAV. And when both the things are correct, then this function is going to return true. Okay. And now after that, moving further, what you have to do, that now you have to create a data frame with a name df_audio, and this data frame will contain the two columns. The first one is path and second one is label. And the path here will contain the path for your audio files. That's why I told you that it's better to get the entire path so that you can store the audio file path within this column. And next we are going to have the label. So label basically the digit that correspond to that particular audio. So in order to get the label, what you have to do, that you have to get the label from the first letter of your audio file name. Okay, so here you can see that, for example, let's say if this is a name for your audio, so the first letter in this file, so this is the digit corresponding to that particular audio here. So now you have to extract all these labels and you have to store in that column. So you have to write the code for creating the column, for creating the data frame with two columns in this code cell. And now when you're going to check the information for your data frame, so here you will see that we are going to have the two columns in this data set. That is, first one is path, second one is label, and all will contain the 2000 values, and there should be not any null values. Okay. And now moving further, we came across our second greater function, and this greater function will check the shape for your data frame, and it should be 2000, 2 because we are going to have 2000 rows and two columns. And also checking the column names, and it should be path and the label, and also checking the value counts for your label. So now you can see that in our data set, we are going to have the labels, we are going to have the digits, audio files of speaking the digit 0 to 9. And for every digit, we are going to have 200 audios by different speakers in different formats. So that's why when you see that for all these 10 digits, we are going to have 200 audios for every digit. So in total, we are going to have 2000 audio files. So it's going to check. So now here it's going to check the value count for the label, and it should be 10. And also it will see that we are going to have 200 audio files for a particular digit here. And when all the things are correct, then this function will return true. And now after that, what we are doing is that now we are shuffling the data set with the shuffle function here, because as you can observe that in the data set, we are going to have the audio files in the order that first we are going to have the audio files with a label 0 followed by 1, 2 and so on. Okay, so it's better if you shuffle your data set before doing any other operations. Okay, so here we are shuffling the data set with the random state. So just try to run this code cell as it is for shuffling your data set. And now after shuffling the data set, what we are doing next is that now we are performing the train and the validation split. So here we are splitting the data into train and the validation set, and we are saving it in these four variables, that is your xtrain, xtest and the corresponding ytrain and the ytest. So you have to write the code for splitting in this code cell, and here you have to use the stratify sampling with a random state of 45 and with the test size will be 30%. So now it's easy for you that how you are going to perform, how you are going to do the splitting on your data set. And after that, we are going to have our next third grader function, and this grader function again will basically check the length for your xtrain and your xtest and the corresponding ytrain and the ytest, and also the values for it. So when you are going to run this grader function, and this will also return true. So now next we will focus on that how you are going to do pre-processing on these audio files. Okay. So since we know that our all files are in the WAV format, so we will read those raw data files using the library Librosa, because the Python has some great libraries for doing the audio processing like Librosa, and the other one is using PyAudio, but here in this assignment we will use Librosa only. So we successfully imported Librosa in the first cell that you can check out, but if Librosa is not installed in your system, then you have to first install it using pip. Okay, so now what we are doing is that now here we have provided a function that is a load WAV function, which basically load your audio files. So here you can see that inside this function, in order to load the audio files, here we are using the command librosa.load, and here we are mentioning the audio file path with the sampling rate. So this is a default sampling rate that we are using here, and this function will going to return me a tuples with two values. The first one is samples and second one is sample rate, where the sample rate is basically the number of samples of audio that is carried per second, and samples here is a NumPy array where each sample is basically the amplitude of the wave. So now when you want to get the duration of your audio file, so what you can do that manually when you are going to divide these samples with that sample rate, so it will return you the duration. But otherwise, if you want to use the function directly, then here you can see that using librosa.got_duration, when you pass here your samples in the sample rate, so it will return me the duration of your audio file. And now with this function, we are returning my samples, that is a NumPy array, and the duration here. That means the duration of your audio. Okay, so now what you have to do, that you have to use this function directly for your xtrain data and the xtest data, and you have to save the result in a variable xtrain processed and xtest processed. Okay, so now your xtrain and the xtest processed should be the data frames, and these data frames will contain two columns, that is your raw data and the duration. So these are the values that is going to return by this function here, and your index will be of same as your xtrain and the ytrain. Okay, so now after this, what you have to do, that now you have to plot the histogram of the duration for your train data, and now you also have to plot the histogram of the duration for the test data. And after that, you have to also print the percentile values from 0 to 100 percentile values with a step size of 10 for your train data duration. And after that, you have to print the 90 to 100 percentile values with a step size of 1. Same for your train data duration. So based on these percentile values, we will try to limit the value for your duration, that we will see in a meanwhile. Further, now we came across our fourth grader function, and this grader function will check the shapes and the columns for your xtrain processed and for your xtest processed. Okay, and this will also return true here. So now based on the observation of the percentile values, you will analyze that the 99 percentile values for the train data duration will going to have the value less than of 0.8 second. That means that 99% of the points in the train data is going to have the duration of less than 0.8 second. So that's why now we will limit the maximum length of xtrain processed and also for the xtest processed to 0.8 seconds. So you can relate this concept similar to the patch sequence for a text data set in order to find the input sequence length, and this thing you have implemented previously in the LSTM assignment. So now while loading the audio files, we are using the sampling rate of default value, that is 22050. So you can see that we are using the sampling rate of 22050 in order to load the audio files. So 1 second now will going to give me the array of length this number. So now our maximum length will be, so you will see that your maximum length will be, when you're going to use the duration of 0.8 seconds, so your maximum length will be 0.8 multiplied with 22050. So this will be give me a number of 17640. So now you have to make the length for your NumPy array limit to this number. Okay, so now we will see how you are going to do that. So simply you have to pad those zeros if length of sequence is less than 17640, otherwise you have to truncate the number. And also along with padding, you have to also create a masking vector for train and the test data, and this masking vector is a boolean vector where the value will be 1 if it is a real value, otherwise 0 if it is a pad value. For example, let's say if you are going to have your array length of let's say 20,000, so in this case, if when you are going to truncate the values, so that in order to limit the values 17640, so your mask factor will be all ones. Okay, and let's say when you are going to have the array of length 17,000, so now here you have to pad 640 zeros, so your mask factor will be ones, will be contain 1 for this 17,000 value, and for the rest of the 640 values it will contain 0. Okay, so this will be the mask vector, and now you have to create this mask vector both for your train and for your test data. Okay, so here you can see that your maximum length we fixed, that is 17640. So based on these instructions, now you have to do the padding and also the masking, and you have to save the results in the xtrain patch sequence for your train data and in xtest patch sequence for your test data. And also you have to create the masking vector with the variable xtrain mask and xtest mask. So your all xtrain patch sequence, xtest patch sequence, xtrain mask, xtest mask will be a NumPy array where your mask vector will be a data type of boolean. Okay, so now with all this discussion, we have came across our fifth grader function, and this grader function again we're going to check the shapes for your xtrain and the xtrain patch sequence, xtrain mask, and also for the shape for xtest patch sequence and your xtest mask. Okay, and this function will also going to return true. So after that, moving further, you can see that till now for the train data we will have the xtrain patch sequence, the xtrain mask and the ytrain, And for the test data, we will have the X-test patch sequence, X-test mask and the Y-test. And now with the help of these two information, we will create our first LSTM model which take this input. So you can follow the steps in order to create your first LSTM model, where you have to create your LSTM network which takes your X-train patch sequence as an input and also the X-train mask as your mask input. So here you can use any number of LSTM cells you want. So please read the documentation, LSTM documentation in the TensorFlow to know more about the mask vector and also for your masking and padding. So let me open this documentation for you here, where you will see that in tf.keras.layers.lstm, here you can pass these following call arguments to your model. The first one is your input, which is basically a 3D tensor with shape batch, the number of time step and the feature. And along with that, there are some optional arguments as well. The first one is your mask, which is a binary tensor of shape, batch and the number of time step, which indicates whether your given time step should be masked or not. So this is an optional argument and its default value is none. Along with that, there are two other arguments as well, which is training and your initial states. So here in this assignment, you have to pass your input, you have to pass the input as also your mask vector as well. So here you can see that in the assignment that you have to create a LSTM network which takes both your input, that is your X-train patch sequence, and also your X-train mask as your mask input. So this is a 3D shape and this is of your 2D shape. So you will get the final output of the LSTM and you have to give it to the dense layer of any size, but make sure that your final dense layer of size should be 10, because as you know that we are going to have the number of outputs, we are going to have the number of outputs as 10, and after that now you have to compile your model with sparse categorical cross entropy, because we are not converting here your Y labels into one-hot encoding vectors. So here you have to use the sparse categorical cross entropy, and also you have to use the TensorBoard in order to plot the graphs of your loss and the matrix. So as a metric here you have to use the micro F1 score, okay, and also you have to plot the histogram of your gradients. So make sure that your model won't overfit. So in order to do that, you are free to include any type of regularization, for example dropouts and all. So now following these instructions, you can import any of the libraries that you want here from the TensorFlow, and you can write the architecture for your LSTM model within this code set. So when you will check the summary of your model, then you will see that we are going to have your input layer of shape batch size and your number of time step with features, and also we are going to have your mask vector that is of say batch size and your number of time step, okay, and next we are going to have your LSTM model followed by the dense layer and followed by another dense layer. So here you can just write the code for your LSTM model and you can check the summary of it, and after that you have to train your model and you will see the performance of it. And after that, after creating your first model, now we have our second model, where you have to convert your audio files to a spectrogram representation and you have to give your spectrogram data as an input to your LSTM model. So here we are using again the Librosa in order to convert your raw data into spectrogram. So a spectrogram is basically showing the features in a two-dimensional representation, with a two-dimensional representation with the intensity of frequency at a point in time. That is, we are converting here your time domain to a frequency domain. So spectrogram is basically the image representation on a frequency axis, where on the y-axis we will take the frequency of your audio and on the x-axis we are going to have the time, okay. So this will be your, like you can see the amplitudes in this graph. So now we are converting each and every audio files to spectrogram representation using the library Librosa, okay. So you can read more about the spectrograms and all, you can read about it in the link that is mentioned here. So now we are using this function, we are provided a function in order to convert your spectrogram with the name convert to spectrogram. So here you can check out this function. So now you have to use this function directly, convert to histogram, and you have to convert your every raw sequence in your X-train patch sequence and your X-test patch sequence to a spectrogram representation. And you have to save all those results in a variable X-train spectrogram and in the X-test spectrogram. So these two arrays must be a NumPy array. So please follow these types as well. And after that we came across our 6th grader function, and this grader function will check the shape of your X-train spectrogram and your X-test spectrogram, and this will be of shape that you can see here, and this function will return true now. So now after converting your data into spectrograms, you will going to have for your train data your X-train spectrogram and your Y-train, and for the test data you are going to have your X test spectrogram and the Y test. So now with this information we will create our second model as an LSTM model which take this input. So here you have to follow this step, that now here you have to create an LSTM network which takes your X-trend spectrogram as an input, and you have to return the output here for every time step. So for that here you have to make the return sequences is equal to 2. And after that now you have to average the output of every time step, and you have to give is the output to the dense layer of any size. That means now you have to use the global average polling, so that you will average the output for every time step, and you have to give it to the dense layer of any size, and your final output and your final size of your dense layer should be 10. And here also you have to train your network with sparse categorical cross entropy. Again, you have to use the tensor boards for plotting your graph of loss and the metric. You have to use the micro F1 score and the histogram of the gradients. And here also make sure your model will won't overfit, and you are here you free to include any regular. So all the remaining steps are going to be same instead of the first two steps, that now here you have to pass your X-trend spectrogram as an input, okay, and you have to return the output of every time step followed by the global average polling. Got it? So now you can write the code for your second model and you can see the results. And now in the third model, you have to perform the data augmentation. So till now we are having the two, we are implementing your model 1 and the model 2 with 2000 samples only. So it's very less data for training your model. So now we are giving the process of generating the augmenting data blue. That means now we are going to extend your data set a little bit. So here basically there are two types of augmentation that you can perform on your audio data. The first one is the time stretching and second one is pitch shifting. So where is the time shifting? It will either increase or decrease the length of the file. So for the time stretching, what we are doing is that we are moving the file 30% faster or slower rate. Okay, and for the pitch shifting, so pitch shifting basically moves the frequency higher to lower. So for the pitch shifting here we are shifting the values up and down 1/2 step. So here also we have provided the two functions that how you are going to generate the augmented data by doing the time stretch and the pitch shift. So here also we are using the these functions from the Librosa library itself. Okay, so the resultant value here you will get the augmented data. So now you can see when you are going to run it for your path, that means for your data set. So here we can see that for a single audio, for a single file, when you're going to run this function, it will going to generate the 9 points. Okay, so now you can see that for one data point, we will get the 9 augmented data points. So if you're going to have 2000 data points initially, train plus test, so of the augmentation you will get 18,000 points. Okay, so your train will be 12,600 and in your test will be 5,400. So now you have to do the above steps, that is your training with raw data and spectrogram data with augmentation. That means you have to again train your model steps with instructions 1 and step with the instruction 2 for your augmentation data in order to implement your model 3 and the model 4. Understand? And one more thing is that the acceptance criteria for this assignment should be, so here as you can check out in this instruction that your acceptance criteria will be that your model 1 and the model 3 will going to have the micro F1 score of 10 and your model 2 and the model 4 will going to have your micro F1 score of 80. Okay, fine.